So we need about 2 cups of red buds, and I think that's about what I've got here. Once I get all the stems out, I should have about 2 cups of red buds, and we're going to make some red bud jelly. So we have our red buds here, and the first thing we need to do is get the stems off. So we are just going to go through here and pick off the stems. And of course, any bugs that we might have captured, we want to get those off too. We don't want those in our jelly. So I wanted to show you what the stem is. So this is the little hard piece of kind of like tree bark, but that's the stem, and we want to take that off. We only want the flower part in our jelly. So they come they're in little clusters. So all we have to do is hold the cluster and pull off the stem to get all the stems out. They're such a pretty little flower. So hopefully you can see that there. They're such a pretty little flower when they open up. Okay, so I have my 2 cups of red bud flowers de-stemmed, and I have boiled some water. And so I'm going to use this mason jar, and I'm going to put my red buds into the jar. I dropped a few. Now to this, I'm going to add 3 cups of the boiling water. Just going to stir that around a little bit. So now I'm going to let this cool on the counter for a couple of hours, and then I'm going to set it in the refrigerator for 24 hours. And then we'll be ready to make our red bud jelly. So we are going to get started making our red bud jelly. So I have here what they call red bud tea. So it is 2 cups of red buds and 3 cups of boiling water that I put in the refrigerator for 24 hours. Now I'm going to strain this to get all the buds out. All I want is the tea, or what you might call the juice. So I have a mesh strainer here. And you want to make sure you squeeze all the juice out of your red buds, because we want all that goodness. So I'm just using a rubber spatula here to squeeze it through the mesh, just to get all of that out. Now I want a total of 3 cups of juice, and I'm just a tiny bit shy. So I'm going to just add a little water. To bring that up to 3 cups. So when you're making jelly, you typically have equal amounts of juice and sugar. So I have here 3 cups of red bud tea, and I have 3 cups of sugar. So first of all, I'm going to bring my tea to a boil. Then I'm going to add my pectin and bring it to a boil for 1 minute. And then I am going to add my sugar and 2½ tablespoons of lemon juice and my sugar, and I'm going to bring that to a boil for 1 minute. And then I will ladle it into my jars, and then I will water bath these jars for 10 minutes, and it will be shelf stable. So our juice has come to a boil. We are going to add our pectin, and then we are going to stir it for 1 minute. So I'm going to set myself a 1 minute timer. Going to add in my pectin and stir for 1 minute. Okay, our 1 minute is up. And we are going to add in our lemon juice. and our sugar. And when this comes to a boil, we are going to start the timer again for 1 minute. Now, some people add butter to cut down on the foaming. I'm going to try to do it without butter. We'll see. It may boil over on me. So I'm stirring it continually and just stopping every now and then to see what kind of a boil I have. And I'm actually going to switch over to this wooden spoon. I'm starting to get a little boil, but it needs to be a rolling boil that can't be stirred down. Okay, we're going to call this a rolling boil because after I stir it, it is still boiling. And we are going to start our timer for 1 minute and pray it doesn't boil over on us. And now we're done. So we're going to turn the heat off and we're going to take this pot off of the heat and ladle it into our jars. We're going to ladle our jelly into our jars here. Took me a minute to get my lighting set up, and that foam kind of settled on top, but it should kind of float to the top of the jelly, and it can be skimmed off if it's something you want to do. Almost full. We will eat this one first. Now I am going to get a spoon and dip some of that foam off. Now I have here some vinegar on a paper towel because I want to make sure I get all this anything sticky off of the rim of my jar because I want a nice seal. I have my lids here that I boiled. Put our lids on finger tight. I'm going to get my water bath back to a boil. I already had it boiling one time. I'm going to get it back to a boil and place our jars in it. We are starting to get a little simmer, and I'm going to go ahead and place my jars into my water bath. I have my rack on the bottom. You always want to make sure you have a rack on the bottom so your jars don't get too hot. Now when that starts boiling hard, we will set our timer for 10 minutes. And we're not quite there yet. We want a rolling boil when you do a water bath. Okay, now we have what you call a rolling boil. See how it's boiling hard? And we are going to start our 10-minute timer. Put the lid back on. And wait for 10 minutes. Okay, so our 10 minutes is up. I'm going to turn off the heat. Kind of move this back off of the eye a little bit. Take my lid off. Let the boil slow down a little bit. And we can go ahead and get our jars out. Well, for some reason, one of my jars, the lid just blew off of it. I've never had that happen before. I have our Redbud jelly here, and those will be sealing up soon. And then we will open this partial one and taste it. Hi guys, so I almost completely forgot to bring you back and taste of the Redbud jelly. So it's set up really nice. You can see here in this jar how nicely it's set up. And all 4 jars sealed, except for that jar that exploded in the canner. Not sure what happened to that. I love the color of this. It smells really nice. It's a very light smell. And let's see what it tastes like. How to describe that? it's a candy-like taste. It is a candy-like taste. It tastes really good. It's not a really strong flavor, but it is good jelly. Get yourself some Redbuds if you live where there are Redbuds. Make yourself some jelly. And, you know, if you put them in these cute little jars, and even the little quarter pint jars, they make really nice gifts to give to people. I know I made dandelion jelly, and I think I gave most of that away. And I'm probably going to make dandelion jelly again this year too, because we like it. Now, dandelion jelly tastes like honey. I'm so glad you joined me today for my Redbud jelly making and canning. And I hope you'll watch some of my other videos. Please remember to like and subscribe and share. And hit the little notification bell so you'll know when I'm going live and post other videos. I just love spending time with you. I hope you enjoy it too. God bless. Bye-bye.